How you doing, first of all?
Man, thank you so much for asking, Kevin. It's been a longer road to recovery than expected, but almost a blessing in its own. There's a lot of things that I still needed to get done while I was injured, sick, I guess call it what you want, but call it. Um, and I live a very fast-paced lifestyle of go, go, get done, accomplish, and then start over again and continue doing the same thing over. Or not the same thing, just a new feat ahead, just to uh, accomplish or overcome, however you want to phrase it. And I think this time it was more like a lot of people have, whether they're valid or not, excuses on how to or why not do something.
Yeah.
In this one, I try to not live my life with any kind of excuses, even if they're valid, even if like somebody tells you like, no, you can't literally do that because X, Y, and Z. I'm like, yeah, I can do it. It's just, just gonna have to kind of wiggle myself around there. We'll figure it out. We'll do it. Like the insurmountable amount of faith that I've had for over a long time, it's questioned a lot. It's like, what do you mean you're gonna do that? It's like, yeah, dude, we're gonna be fine. Don't worry about it. Which is sometimes why people like to go on adventures with me because um, I'm safe when I go with a lot of people, but when I go by myself, I kind of just play in the fine lines of things. But I guess answering your question, I'm great. This is a a very necessary and mandatory halt to my life. It's allowing me to write, it's allowing me to read, it's allowed me to implement way things in a very nurturing way instead of just being pushed by getting something done. So it's been awesome, man. Thank you
Well,
for
you.
asking.
Yeah, doing pretty decent. So, I guess really what it boils down to, a lot of it is just your mental state, being able to move forward and keep that positive attitude. Is that kind of what you're finding, or has that always been the way that you've lived your life?
Yeah, dude, that's the way I live my life. That's exactly how I've been all of my life. Going through uh, pretty challenging things that I probably didn't sit down and realize what I had just done or accomplished. It was just one of those things, and we're like, all right, I guess that's how to do that, and now on to the next thing. With this one, it's because it's I'm learning so many new things, so much that I actually wrote them all down, and I'm like, oh man, I could totally write like a few pages on each one of these.
You need to
So
do a
that's when I
book
started.
or something. Then it sounds like.
I am, yeah. I'm actually 3 chapters shy of finishing it. Very rough draft, very raw, very blunt. That's kinda how I am in real
Yeah.
life. Whether it's military background or firefighting background.
Let me ask you this: I understand the situation a little bit, but so you go out into the creek, or is this a creek or this a river?
It's
Like
a lake.
it's a lake.
It's a lake.
So how do you say the name of the lake? Okichio?
It's actually Lake Tonosasa.
Okay,
I
there
can
you go.
say it. Good luck spelling it. Good luck.
So this is a place you've been multiple times based on what I understand from previous stories. Is that correct?
Yeah, I've been around it a lot and I actually live fairly close to it, but I've never swam in it. I've kayaked, I've done those kind of things, and but I've never swim in it. I've been in the water because I did it. I did a lot of work actually um, in the outer skirts of the dock where we were going to start the actual race because I needed to clear out some vegetation in order for it to make it much easier for people to enter and exit. So technically, I have been in the water, but I never swam.
Okay, so my understanding originally was that you were filming video, so you were actually setting up a race. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my company is called the FeedX Adventure Company, and one of the five fingers of outreach is a competition. And it's going to be a new concept of race. was going to be triathlon based, but it was going to be a multi-stage transitional race. And it's something that not many people have heard about before, let alone know the concept. So I knew the importance of giving the details in a video. So that's why I went, and that's why I wanted to do the route and then explain the. It's more of a game than an actual sport. Actually, kind of awesome to be honest. And So that is the purpose of me being there, is to record the route. And then when I was going to get back, I was going to talk to the camera. I was going to explain the rules, show the equipment, show where you're going to put the things, do this, and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then that silly little thing got in my way. Kind of annoying.
Little thing, is it how long was it? 12 to 13 feet? Did they ever come up with an estimate?
So I spoke with a crocodile conflict expert. No idea that existed, never know that was a thing. But this dude is more than qualified to talk about anything and everything that has to do with alligators in North America and Central America.
Okay.
And the it was awesome talking to him. And you can find him on some of the podcast things that I've done in the past, was because I there was a certain level of importance to me to speak the truth about
Right.
what happened, right? Because there's always I was a PJ in the Air Force, and I've dealt with operators for a section of my life, and actually not even operators, more like men. I've dealt with men and where they say, "Dude, I caught a 6 foot bass," blah blah blah, and they show you the picture, and it's like this, you know. I didn't want to do that with this story, just because there were so many perspectives, and there was so much beauty that came out of my story, that later on I found out that it was helping people evaluate their own traumas, whether it be physical or psychological.
Yeah.
So I needed for everything to be like at a 99% certainty. Obviously, there's like going to be another little percentage that maybe I didn't get the right color or whatever. But
Right.
I needed this to be real. I needed this to be, and also I was blessed by having a video, and also a perspective from like 5 different people in the area at different times. So told my story as I was maybe like the first day out of surgery, maybe
Yeah.
the second day. As soon as they pulled the tube out of my throat, I was like, "All right, I need to get this like written down. I need to figure out like what is the my idea of what happened." And also because I didn't know if I was going to have any memory loss. I heard that they had to take my full temporal lobe out because of the crush, and also they had to take sections of my brain. I don't have any neuro deficits. I actually tell people all the time, it depends. If it's good, I tell them that this gave me superpowers and I'm like the smartest man alive. And then on the other side, when I forget something, it's like, oh, dude, I have brain damage. Just take it easy on me. It's like, I forgot your name. Yeah, dude, brain damage, bro. So
Great
blessing on
excuse.
both. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then my jaw was, I mean, I can kind of give you a full line of all of my injuries, but waste the time of your audience or whatever. But um the the video was important to me because I needed to get all of the information of what happened, and the things that I remember, the things that I don't remember. And I have a documentary coming out. So Dave Wagner, local news guy, is actually doing a long-term documentary, which is really nice because I can, um, you know, get the whole thing. And
Yeah.
there's actual
That's
videos of
awesome.
other things. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's really rad. Yeah, especially
Mhm.
to see, from the start, to the finish. I mean, dude, I would never think that part of your brain was missing, you know? I mean, you're doing
Yeah.
one.
Well, you can tell, I guess, when I take this off, you can kind of see like here. I don't have, and it's also not my brain. It's just the actual skull portion
Yeah.
crushed. And actually talking to Fabio, the crocodile conflict expert. What a solid name for a career.
Yeah, for
Um, he helped me really go through the anatomy of the wounds, and it was initially I thought it was just clack, like a quick head type situation, and I
Yeah.
thought the teeth had actually um, gotten through my skull. But on the other hand, actually, it was actually twofold. It was the initial impact of swimming at a kind of high speed of rate of speed, probably an average swimmer actually had slowed down because I was not all that shape of swimming that long of a distance. I hadn't swum in like a month and a half. I think I
Yeah.
was just taking a hiatus after the World Championship, the Ironman that I did earlier this year, I think. And so I wasn't in necessarily swim shape, but still I was swimming, probably maybe like 4 or 5 miles per hour. I guess if you can do like the math in
Yeah.
swim speed, and then you align the alligator heading towards me at that speed also. So his snout is actually what did this, what crushed it. And then after I hit what I thought was literally a brick wall, like I just felt something so freaking hard that I was like, seeing stars. And then after that, I felt the crunch. So it was twofold. It was the smash from his giant snout and then the clasp from his jaws.
So he didn't have his jaws open at the time.
No, because I was coming at him. Like if I was just standing there,
Yeah.
he would have kind of like he or she would have you have to use the right pronouns for these animals, they'll get mad. Um, um, yeah, I think anything and this is actually common when he said, is that they're coming at you, and then it's not until they impact you and realize that you're there that then they'll know. Because I think their depth perception sucks.
Okay. So they're attracted by the water sounds, the splashing, and then they basically come up.
Moving
They're like,
directly
"Oh,
to
wait, let's see if it's food." Is that kind of how it goes?
either food or you're in their territory. And in the territory, this is kind of like this is one of the truths that there's probably like 95% true. It's the person that actually caught it is not the wildlife, I forget the acronym, Wildlife Association. I'm butchering that, I'm sorry. But the people that you call when there's an e-gator, which is an emergency gator, is what he said. It stops being a nuisance. Nuisance is like it's potentially dangerous.
Right.
An e-gator is like it's done something and needs to get the hell out of here. It needs to be taken out
Yeah. So a
for the
trapper of
safety
some
of
sort.
humans. People always talk about the safety for animals or whatever. It's like let's talk about the hierarchy of importance here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
kind of have an issue with people that think that animals are more important than humans. Stupid way of thinking. And I'll probably get in trouble for that. Whatever.
We'll edit that part.
So no, don't edit it. I don't care at all. Don't care. And it's not to say that I wanted this animal hurt or anything. It's just I was actually perfectly okay not seeing it ever again, to be honest. But what made me potentially kind of seek it was because that's a public dock for an entire neighborhood, and where
Right.
kids do jump off of it. So if one of those kids that found me and helped me with the rest of the story, um, dude, they would have jumped in that water, and I'm pretty certain those kids would have just been snacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
And that makes
so
sense.
yeah,
With an alligator, the good thing about it is you can usually identify them. So it's not like you're going and killing a bunch of alligators. You can target the one. It's usually
yeah,
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 it's a little
yeah.
different.
That's true. That is true. There's also sense of it is something that big. Obviously, it doesn't share its territory with anything else. And also, we eat alligator here in Florida and Alabama too. And my incident happened on the 3rd of August, and unbeknownst to me, the alligator season opened up August 15th. So August 15th, people have already heard my story. I'm pretty sure there was like, I don't know how many people went to Lake Thonosassa, but they were ready with their tags, ready to get themselves some alligator
Yeah.
for all sorts of reasons. Because there's a lot of them there. Like if they're not hunted, humans will become hunted. We will be the ones that are getting hunted. They would find alligators in people's pools. They would find alligators in people's garages. Little kids that are going on the street would
Right.
get chomped down by alligators. So it's like a real thing. Like there's like an absolute need for us to hunt this animal.
You got to control it.
And also,
Overpopulation's huge, and then too, you'll have starving alligators. So they'll be eating each other, and it's a whole thing,
yeah,
balancing act with it.
right. And I think that there's two trains of thought on what sex the alligator that attacked me was. And so the gentleman that caught it was not from wild conservation. I'm butchering that, dude. I don't know. Can't remember what they're actually called. But the people
FWC,
that come,
probably.
sorry,
Is it FWC? Florida
Florida
Wildlife.
Wildlife. I thought it started with the W, but yeah, that might be it. That might be it. The people that you call when you have the situation and they come and get it. Well, I'm under the impression that they're extremely overworked and probably underpaid. So they're getting called all over the state. They have a limited amount of people. And as mad as anybody can be, it's like, why aren't you taking care of my gator? There's probably like 15 people that are just as worried about you, about their animal.
Right.
So, but on August 15th, the one of the neighbors to the people that helped me, a person that has access to that dog, said that he went hunting with one of his tags and he found this one particularly right underneath the dock, and there was a nest. And he sent me a picture. It's a small dinosaur. Just don't know if it's a male or a female. And if it's a female, which I think that we came to the conclusion, Flavio and myself came to the conclusion that it's more than likely a female because of the way that it came towards me. He says that he's dealt with alligator um, situations a lot, and
Yeah.
he's not scared of the alligators. He knows how to manipulate them. He knows exactly what they do when you turn them around. They go into tonic immobility and all sorts of different things. But the one time that he's legitimately afraid is when there's a nest with eggs. That alligator mom becomes a crazy animal. Like there's no calming it down. You can shoot it in the face and it'll still come to you. It's like a completely, it's a motherly type of thing,
Yeah.
even though they eat their own babies. Whatever. So yeah, it's a thing. So when him the one awesome thing that he does is that he doesn't just he deals with the human and the animal psychology, and the animals don't necessarily all act different because they all have different personalities. They're not like humans. They all just act the same according to what they're dealt with, right? Anyways, so it actually followed me under the dock. You can read the story.
Yeah.
My website is joindefeatx.com. There's a short story there that I explained to a good buddy of mine, Bill Barr, and he's a short story writer. And I basically gave him all the facts straight from my memory, and then he put them on paper. And then he also talked to other people because I needed to know, it's like, how much of this am I making up to say about the matter?
Yeah.
And it was all pretty cool.
Well,
And
you have a
but
few minutes. Could you, if I play the video, can you kind of walk us through what happened? I think it's only like a minute long, the
yeah,
copy.
man, let's do it. Go ahead.
So how
Yeah.
long was this into the swim?
So this was about 250 to 300 meters into the swim. And what you don't see there is, so the reason that this video is 20 seconds is because from what I realized later on when he sent me the other videos is that his SD card must have been formatted incorrectly. And because there's no method to the madness. There's like a 40-second video before of just swimming and then the drone being really close to me and seeing my terrible footwork, which is embarrassing because I'm a coach. So for all my athletes, just do as I say, not as I do. And and then the other thing is that so there's 40 seconds, there's 29 seconds, there's one even with 4 seconds. And the 4 second video is actually the coolest one because it shows me moving away from the dock once I'm already at the dock. But anyways, let me I'll share with those later on. I'll
Okay.
share it with I don't know how I'm gonna put those out, but I'll put them out.
Okay.
And so right here, I am swimming. I don't have a swimming cap and I don't have goggles. And I am moving. I probably will go maybe like 20 more feet, and then I was gonna start making my left hand turn into the, wide spectrum of the teardrop to turn around.
Okay.
So, you can see here actually, you can whatever, you can rewind it or not. You can see that I'm coming to when you stop it right there, it looks like I'm completely out that bastard's mouth. It looks like I literally just got eaten whole. But if you, press play real quick and then stop it. Press play and then play.
Okay. Stop it there.
It's actually kind of blurry. But in the original one, in the original video, which you can find on my YouTube page, which is you can find it as JC Defeats. Um, I s- Before getting I guess attacked by the alligator, I was on my left stroke. And
Mhm.
then when the collision occurred, I was already starting my right hand stroke. And with my right hand stroke, with anybody that does any swimming, whether it's endurance or whether it's in a pool, it comes to a time in where it's just like walking and running. It's a muscle memory. So you're essentially you're putting your hand in front of you and you're placing your hand in a cup motion, and then you're putting the hand in front of you underneath you to propel water behind you and you forward. So instead of just touching water and propelling myself forward, I felt scales and then teeth. So instead of pushing down, I naturally place my right hand on the lower jaw of the right side of the alligator's face. But so I immediately knew, like, where I was at.
Yeah.
Really painful. It looked like I just smashed my face against a car going 20 miles per hour or whatever, or a wall.
Yeah.
And, then I felt the teeth, and I knew that I was in the teeth. Just I felt it with my face. There was nothing else that I could confuse this for, man. It's not like I hit like a can of something. It was clear, man. The message came to me immediately when it happened, and the message went something like this. It was, "You are in an alligator. Open the mouth and get the hell out of there." So I said, "Roger that." So, as I'm swimming, with my right hand on the lower right jaw, the left one will naturally start the left hand. Because remember, you can see my stroke. I'm probably, if I was evaluating the video, I think that's probably like I'm usually like at 80 or 85 strokes per minute. So, so with that, I mean, you do the math. I was doing one, and I'm terrible at math, more than one stroke a second. So I
Yeah.
was almost already prepared, or I was. My left hand immediately when I was there, just naturally was it was gonna get ready for the next stroke. So instead of getting in front of the water to propel water underneath me, I actually went directly to the top left part of the mouth.
Mm.
So I do a pretty good explanation on my video on my channel, and where I all I'm doing is trying to open it. So go ahead and press play. So right there, stop it. You saw that black. I was wearing a black skin suit. I was wearing a black Defeat X sleeveless skin suit, and you see the bottom portion of me kind of flopping slowly, not even that fast. Like you've seen, anybody can just search National Geographic or YouTube on an alligator death roll, and you'll see that they don't do the death roll slowly. They go fast. And the
Yeah.
reason that they go fast because if they what I learned is that alligators, when you turn them, when you get them in a kind of like a 25, 30-degree angle of turn, they go into tonic immobility, which you know you're a
Yeah.
shark guy. It's what orcas do to great whites to kill them and eat them.
Mhm.
Well, I said, kind of cliche because I do this all the time, but, I didn't go to alligator wrestling school in the military. I missed that school. There's no such thing.
Yeah.
But, there's no way for me to know this. I just was just kind of following instructions on what to do to get out of there. And, so I initially, I was telling him that I opened his mouth, but I'm like, "Dude, I'm not." I know how strong these creatures are. And if this thing is doesn't matter, dude. If this thing was 9 feet or 13 feet, um, you need a crane to open this thing's mouth. Like you
Yeah.
need not no human. Don't get me wrong, dude. I mean, I'm unbelievably strong. All right. I'm like the strongest dude you'll ever meet. I'm joking. I'm not that at all. I'm an endurance athlete, dude. I you know, I mean, I can squat quite a bit, but dude, no. No
Yeah,
matter what,
not happening.
any person, actually, probably like the strongest man in the world, like world's strongest man, would not be able to open that jaw. Like I would actually like to see that in the world's strongest competition.
Yeah, see if they could.
Probably not going to happen. But but anyways, so but the thing, what we came to conclusion was is that I turned it. I did it so quickly that I'm the one that turned it. And because it's, I mean, I'm turning anywhere from I think we talked like 300 to 1,000 pounds. And if I turn it, I'm only weighing at the time like a hefty 145. And just like all lean muscle, dude. I mean, I just got out of an Ironman, so there's like barely any fat on me,
Yeah.
and so I turn it, and because when you turn a creature that size and is has you in his jaws, when it turns, you go with it. So that's what you
Yeah.
see. You see kind of my legs kind of going with it, and because I turned it, it goes into that sense of tonic and mobility, and that's when it lets me go. So go ahead
Uh,
and play it.
uh, thank God for that.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Yeah, and there's no other way that I would have. And then I'm out. I look up to see where the dock is. I'm like, all right, I'm out. The other thing was that you see that there's two docks. I
Yeah.
could have gone to the
Yeah.
right one. I could have gone to the left. I also could have just gone straight ahead to get out. I don't know, dude. Something, whether it was common sense or the message that I heard before was go to the dock. So that's where I went. So I went to the dock, and that's when I jumped out, and then there was a video of me walking out of the dock. So right here, his hand in his mouth. I wasn't in his mouth, but whatever. Right there, that bump,
Yeah.
right there. So that is actually where there's an X-ray of my temporal lobe shoved in, which I actually thought it was from the teeth of the alligator. It wasn't. It was from his snout.
Wow.
And then he bit on me, and that's why I have stitches on my chest and all over my face, then on my head, and then in the back. And I think the reason that it kind of played with me. You can see kind of like the tail almost at the end. This thing is huge. This thing is
Yeah.
so big. So yeah, I didn't exactly stick my hand in his mouth because that would have been oh, way shittier than what I actually got because my hand probably would have got ripped off for sure. It's just a lot more meat, it's a lot more bone for it to do what it needed to do. Plus, I wouldn't have been able to have any kind of leverage to try to open its mouth. So when I think they understood, I don't think that's one of the medias that actually took an interview. It's when my hand was at the bottom. Like I was like super in. I actually thought my hand was going to be super screwed up because I don't know how sharp or how dull or I'm in action. I'm in a war zone, and I don't really am too focused on how messed up my hands are as long as I get out of there, right?
Yeah. So
So
where were
because my
your
hand was
eyes
there,
at in this?
my what?
Where were your eyes like in proportion to the gator's mouth?
Do you see how the water is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see shit, dude. I have no idea. I have no idea where inside the gators. Like it's not fresh water. It's not like I just know that I'm inside of this thing's mouth. I don't know where my eyes were. I guess I don't know how to answer that question. Sorry.
That's all right. Well, I'm just curious if you know how lucky you were not to lose an eye. Um,
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, you can look at this car. That's, I guess, how close I was.
I can't see it. I got the video up, but I'll check in a second if you don't mind showing
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I'll show it to you. It's about like an inch away from my eye.
Okay, so it was pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it had to be terrifying. I mean, of course, you like you say, you've been trained, so your first instinct is, fight back, get the hell out.
Like I don't want to diminish anything that I've done in the past, but to say that I've trained for this is kind of silly.
Yeah.
Getting trained for this, dude. Who the hell trains to swim with an alligator and get out of its mouth?
So let's see. I think we were. So what? How many people were around watching this at the time?
Nobody. I was about 250 to 300 meters away from Matt. Matt was the drone person. So no. couldn't see anything.
So he
Plus,
okay, he
there's
had no
nobody at the
clue.
dock. There's, huh?
He had no clue what was happening. He just was flying the drone.
Right. And I didn't even know if he had a like an actual vantage point to actually see if he didn't see anything. That's the actually that's the really cool part about the other video was that you can see my footsteps, my wet footsteps going to the edge of the dock trying to figure out. So I thought I made this up in my head, but I did. I went to the edge of the dock, and at the edge of the dock, I saw that there was no way that Matt saw me. And then if I'm not returned, he thinks that something really bad happened. So he's gonna freak out. And maybe he heard like a scream, maybe he saw splashing. So if he doesn't see me return, the dude's gonna think I'm dead.
Yeah.
So I also couldn't call the ambulance right there because he was just gonna be freaking out. So that's why I needed to go and let my boy know that I'm okay. And I called the ambulance back where he was. So the whole story, dude, I could tell it, but it's much better written down, and you can check it out on my website. It's join, like you're joining, JOIN defeat X DEFEATX.com. So um, yeah, there's multiple people's perspectives, and the way that they saw it is actually even more cool, mm,
Yeah.
better told from other people's eyes, actually.
Well, so can I see
Yeah.
the scar again? Wow, that is wild.
Yeah, so there's other ones scattered in the back of my head, but I would have to shave like my head for you to actually see it. But they're like all over the place. And then there's actually really neat, and where you would see this one. So you see that it's kind of like horizontal versus this one being vertical, right? You
Yeah.
see it? Sorry,
Yeah, I can see it there.
you see the one on my chest.
Yeah.
So that needed some sutures, but remember I was swimming, so this doesn't make sense now. Now it does.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So did the neighbor that ended up finding the nest, did he actually kill the gator with his tag?
Yeah, he
Okay.
did. The thing that I talked to Fabio is that actually is one of those truths that we like to think that it's like 95% sure because something that big, we don't know if it's uh, willing or even capable of staying in an area without being challenged by other things or killing everything around it. So if you're catching something in that area, the likelihood of that being the gator, that's pretty high. But looking at the video and what he said is that you can kind of figure out how big he is by measuring my hand. If you measure my hand from when it ends at my head there, you can just measure from my elbow to kind of the end of my fingertips, right?
Yeah.
And if I do that, then I get about, I think it was like 15, 17 inches, give or take. And um, you can just kind of align that measurement on the video. And I was getting more than 12 feet. So maybe I'm doing something wrong with the math. It's really not all that important because as he kept saying, it was like, dude, if it's a 8 foot alligator or if it's a 14-foot alligator, the jaws and the brute force of it biting you is just it's the way it happened, man. It was just it was perfect. Actually, the bigger that it was, actually, the actual less likely that it wanted to eat me. It was just kind of like it saw how small I was, so it just kind of wanted to just play with me, just kind of like a little munch and kind of like. But he changed his mind after seeing the other video when I went into the dock because it was that big and it felt like it wasn't crushing me, like I wasn't like my head. I felt like my head and my face weren't right, right? Like after that big old impact. But in a sense, when I was in its mouth, it didn't feel like I was being compressed, like somebody giving you like a big old hug. I
Yeah.
didn't feel that. So he was saying that usually when something that large, when they're just kind of playing with their prey, they'll just put it in their mouth and just kind of hold it there. That's kind of how I felt. But so if that's the case, then it's much bigger than we initially thought. But that's
So I
you can
understand that a
put
lot
as
of
much
times they
importance into that as you want. What?
I understand that they drown them a lot of times, like, the gators will take something and drown it and stick it under a hole. Is that correct too?
I didn't ask him that just
Mm.
because I didn't drown. I now wasn't been placed underwater. But what I know is that I right before it, I had taken a breath. I'm a left-handed, so if I'm going here, I usually would have just took a quick breath.
Yeah,
So I took a breath like right before this whole thing happened, and
gotcha.
um, I guess one thing that you could say is like I don't know. I keep being told that if I was in that situation, of course I would have died, and I guess I would have challenged you and would have been like, "Well, if you're being coached by me, maybe you can do this in the future." But no, I'm just kidding. I would never put anybody in that situation.
Yeah. So what's your
Um,
final take on it? What would you tell somebody, that comes to you and says, "What's changed in your life? What can I do better to make myself better after going through a near death experience like this?"
the near death experience for me is kind of it's not a cliche, but it's not applicable to me just because I never felt like I was gonna die. I know it's very weird to hear. I know it is.
Yeah.
Um, because like I said, the message was an alligator open its mouth and go to the dock. But the other thing that I felt, and I've had an insurmountable amount of faith. I've always just had. And one of the things that came through with that was there's a big difference between rational fears and irrational fears. And because of my background, um, I guess also there's a little bit of ignorance, not willful ignorance, more like I had no idea that my skull was crushed.
Yeah.
I know I was in a lot of pain. I was in a lot of pain, but I've been in a lot of pain before. Um, so I guess how it would change me, how I would I found the importance that I found the importance in my story. That's how it changed me. I before I was always kind of like I'm just another dude just doing life the best that a dude knows how, you know? And through meeting a lot of people and hearing a lot of different stories, everybody has an alligator story, dude.
Yeah.
Mine was just mine is just sexy because it has teeth and some scales, and also 'cause it was shot in a video drone, right? But it has allowed me to listen to a lot of people's stories about their lives and their darkness, their very deep, real darkness.
Yeah.
They're not able to tell their stories. They're not being questioned about their stories. And one of the things that I learned actually talking to a few MARSOC dudes talking about PTSD and where some of them were like, "Oh, it's not a real thing. It's kind of like something that's made up." I remember one of them saying that. And I'm like, "Well, I don't really know enough to argue with that." And he was such a cool dude. I think he was just kind of joking about it and chucking it off because it's totally a real thing. People kill themselves because they have
Yeah.
PTSD. So it's a real thing.
Yeah, no doubt.
Um, but there's also the there's I think the importance of, and I know this is being said all the time, but I still think that it's underrated and not said enough. In where if you deal with something that is horrific, the first thing that you want to do is keep it to yourself. But really, you're just kind of digging a deeper hole.
Yeah.
So the importance in finding anybody and anything that will listen. I guess listen is good because some people just have no idea what to do when somebody tells them trauma. They're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, this is so dark." Like, "All right, I can't do it. I can't do it," because they immediately attach that darkness into how they would deal with it. And dude, they would deal with it the exact same way that you did. So
Yeah.
they're not going to be any help whatsoever. But if you talk to somebody that has potentially can not just sympathize but empathize in what is going on in your life, and this is something that was brought upon me when this occurred, is that I've dealt with very little hints of depression, very little hints of anxiety. And I say hints because I don't want to downplay anybody's legit illness. But mine was just so short lived. I've toe in those darknesses, and I saw how real they were and how demoralizing and how not disabled, but how powerless you can be
It's a good
with
one.
it. And if you don't have a source to get you out of that, not gonna be able to do it by yourself. You
Yeah.
just can't.
It's
So the only
important that,
thing that people know how to do
yeah,
is because we're just humans, man. I'm just a human, just a little boy, dude. Like I'm nothing special. Like, sure, I've done a couple of things here with the military background. I do endurance things, whatever. But if it wasn't for my faith, if it wasn't for my truth, the truth, uh, yeah, dude, I would have been in a corner somewhere, not talking to anybody. I wouldn't be working on my business. I wouldn't be writing a book. I would not be talking to you. That's
yeah.
for sure. So there's a certain level of truth there that a lot of people need to hear.
Got to share the load is really what it boils down to.
Yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, you can be literally the world's strongest man, but if you continuously put rocks in your rock or weight in your rock, you're gonna collapse, even
Yeah,
if you think you're gonna. Nature has a way of showing you who the real boss is.
yeah, no doubt. So what's the name of your website again?
It's at joindefeatx.com, and it's under the development stage. We're getting ready to do something really big with it, and where we take people through different stages of development. I'm putting a little bit of my military background, a little bit of my endurance competitive background, and a lot of just my general world wisdom with a lot of bright minds that is going to develop a program of adventure
Yeah,
all around the world, and also truth, also um, community. Community is really big, but not really a need in the community. More like you can do it yourself, but it's cool to hang out with people that can also do it themselves.
great, man. I just appreciate you taking the time to do it. And really, I am so glad to see how good you look. The
Thanks,
first,
Dan.
yeah, it was like, dude, oh my God, is he gonna make it? It was kind of scary, but I mean, your cognitive skill seems there. I mean, you're just a normal dude. You know.
Yeah.
Plus, you got a place to put your
I,
head.
yeah, with the headphones, I look perfectly fine. And it's just one of those things that they're going to put the skull back on. And then I actually had really bad not neuro, facial paralysis afterwards. Like you can see that I can move like my right side and my left
Yeah,
side is kind of not moving. But I've realized one of those things in where doctors tell their patients after a very traumatic event that they need to go through therapy and they need to work this out or whatever. And I quickly realized it was like, dude, you're telling somebody that just went through a traumatic event to now do more work that they usually don't do. So
yeah,
the chances of them doing that is zero to none. Absolutely none. They're just going to go home. They're going to be sad. They're not going to do anything with their face. They're just going to be overwhelmed in their darkness. And then they're potentially going to get worse. In an absolute worst, they die,
yeah,
right? So that could happen too. They're not taking their medication. They're completely just giving up. So they die. Or they get better. But I understand the list of people that have conquered something like this,
yeah,
have defeated something like this. I guess not yet because I still don't have a piece of my skull. but uh, but I guess the battle remains of waking up at 6 a.m. and plugging stupid bag of antibiotics that changes my chemistry completely, and
yeah,
then doing it again at 2 p.m. and then doing it again at 10 p.m. For an hour and a half to 2 hours of carrying a pole like a old person would because they can't walk around.
Well, the good thing is, if you
but
get attacked by a bear or something, you've got a weapon now. Your IV bag.
yeah, that's the way to think about it. Yeah, exactly. Dude, I have a permanent weapon that makes a lot of noise.
Yeah, for real. Well, man, I
Yeah,
appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today.
not at all.
And
Appreciate you, man. You have a
yeah,
good one,
we'll,
dude.
all right, man. You too. It's good talking to you again.